Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning to all. Thank you for attending today's this morning press conference by MATTA. This morning, basically, I'm going to touch on the subjects of visa. Why visa? Because this visa is the proactive measure for us to attract visitors to the country. As you may all be aware already, and has been reported recently with regards to the Visit Malaysia year, with regards to the arrival into Malaysia. For the first 7 months, we registered a growth of 9.7%, despite the 2 incidents of Malaysian Airlines, and also despite of the drops in terms of arrival from China. Yet we registered 9.7%. I shall not touch so much on the subject of the arrival, because the arrival, as you all are aware, obviously the numbers was increased due to the arrival from our neighboring countries, especially Singapore and Malaysia. Singapore and Indonesia, that actually push up the numbers with regards to the increase in the numbers of arrival. As far as the numbers of arrival from long haul, I think the desired number is still yet to be seen to increase significantly. I think we still have a long way to go with regards to that. And as far as China is concerned, of course, the regions, the drops, the decrease in numbers of arrival is still hovering around 30% across the region: Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, as well as Thailand. And as I have to mention this one thing is that as far as tourism is concerned, Malaysia, all this while in the past, we have always been looked upon, away from Singapore, we have always been looked upon as the success story, etc. and whatsoever. There's been other countries are really looking at us in terms of in the areas of our activities, in the areas of our success in drawing the numbers. Yeah. But recently, currently, I have to mention that because due to our past history of success, I think we are sitting on our laurel now. If we look around this time around, when the whole region is experiencing drops in numbers of arrival from China, especially, our reactions, our country reactions towards how to do the recovery, etc., is very, very slow. Okay? And countries, surprisingly, like Indonesia, they are very, very proactive. In the past, they look at Malaysia, they copy what Malaysia is doing. They take the good practices of Malaysia and they apply. And we are the leaders. But today, we have not done anything, and yet these countries, example, Indonesia are already looking at visa exempt for 5 countries, especially the major countries like China. That's already in their pipeline. Okay? And Hong Kong is actually moving very, very well, and Hong Kong is actually coming out very, very strongly. I think, and we feel that maybe by the end of this year, Hong Kong arrivals could actually overtake Malaysia's arrivals. And Thailand, with their visa exemption for China national this year, Thailand's arrival has actually now lately also has been increased, see some increase. And lately also, I've already made a call for at least our government, Malaysia government, to do a visa exempt for at least 6 months or so for the China market. If we react now, if we do it now, at least the market can react, particularly for the Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year is just about 4 months down the road or 3 months down the road. If we do it now, I'm sure there will be some, you should be able to capture some market, and at least that will give us the numbers. But if we were to do it in February itself, when people already plan, what numbers are we talking about? You know what I mean? So this is the reason why we have to react very, very fast. We have to react very, very fast ahead. And all are aware, and we're all aware in the marketplace that as far as Japan is concerned, Japan is already for the past 1.5 years, they already do a visa exam. They start with Malaysia, then they have actually extended it to Thai, extended it to Indonesia, etc. and whatsoever, and their numbers are increasing tremendously. Why is Japan not afraid to give visa free to Malaysia, to Malaysians, to Indonesians? If you look at the past history, in the past, why Japan imposed visa to Malaysians, to Indonesians, to Thais? I'm sure you know the reasons, right? And the very same reasons that our Home Ministry, our Home Ministry is responsible for this visa entries, etc. and whatsoever. It's not the Minister of Tourism. They are the one that actually says that because of social problems, etc. and whatsoever, that the visa need to be implemented or need to be enforced for some of these countries, because for fear of socials, for fear of some social side effects or etc. and whatsoever. But I think that is not the excuse, or for fear of terrorism or whatsoever. I think that is also not the excuse. I think it's a matter of how we actually handle these whole things. Because mind you, the China market is just like the Indonesian market. At one time, the Indonesian markets is not a big spender, but today, we look at the Indonesians. Our 5-star shopping malls, our top-end boutiques, who are the shoppers? It's from our neighboring country, Indonesians. They are the shoppers. They are buying all these branded goods in Malaysia. You look at the LV shops. I'm sure all the time, most of the times, you will always find Indonesians in that shops. So likewise, the Chinese, they are no longer the peasants who actually buy souvenir items only when they go shopping. The world is chasing after the Chinese market, the Chinese visitors, the Chinese tourists, because they are the one that is with the buying powers today. You look at LV shops in Paris. I think this is where our people who are responsible in tourism, they need to do the homework. Okay? So in this respect, the question is, are we Malaysians, are we Malaysia as a country serious about tourism? We have a cabinet committee on tourism, chaired by our Yang Rahmat, DPM. And what are we actually doing about this? The world is talking about visa free. You go to the world, you go to the United Nations, and the United Nations World Tourism Organizations, they are already speaking about visa free. The visa free entry on tourism should not tie to socio-economic or social effects, or at the same time also should not tie to terrorism, because it's two separate matters altogether. And the other things that we are looking at also is that why do our Ministry of Tourism needs to spend millions and millions of dollars or ringgits on tourism promotions, when at the same time, another ministry is holding back all these things. All these things means by imposing the visas requirements and by enforcing the visas requirements. Actually, on one hand, we are spending millions to attract tourists. On the other hand, we are also spending millions, or rather, we are depriving millions of tourism dollars coming to the country by enforcing unnecessary visas requirement. I also would like to quote that, as far as visa is concerned, I think for almost a decade now, more than 10 years, Australia has the best model for applying visa. I'm sure you all know about that. It is electronic visa, e-visa, electronic visas. And the model is the best, I think, so far in the world. Whereas this e-visa is only done through the travel agents, through the booking engines of the GDS, or we call it through Abacus, Amadeus, or whatsoever. In our travel terms, we call it the GDS. And it is already make it so easy. Okay. And another slap in our face right now for Malaysian is that the upcoming ASEAN neighbors, Myanmar, who was so backward in the past and only recently opened up, has now come out with e-visa. Again, where are we now, Malaysia? We are still very primitive in our approach in visas. So I beg the government, our government, to quickly do something about this, because the economic and the tourism numbers, well, the numbers has increased because it's only coming from the region and whatsoever, and MATTA members are suffering actually. Our inbound operators, our inbound members are actually suffering. Business is still not enough. Not only the numbers of tourists, international tourists from others are not that significant in terms of arrival numbers, but at the same time also we also face with, you know, the unlicensed operators or illegal operators, those people who operate without, you know, any licenses and whatnot. We also having or facing keen, competition from that. And if you look at some reports recently, Bukit Bintang is full of illegal events, etc. and whatnot, coming from the West Asia countries. I don't have to say this. I think the officers from the ministry should go down the ground and have a look for themselves. Have a look, see for themselves. You know how these people operate. And where is the local? Where are we, local Malaysians? Where are we going to be placed? So in conclusions, I would seek the government to react to our call in this short-term period. For one, at least give an visa exemptions for China, also to consider India, because these are all the emerging market, huge market. Don't look at the Indian as not having money, but they are a lot. The numbers of they have a very high numbers of the middle income and above, and these are people who are going to come and spend a lot of money over here in Malaysia. And I quite recently, if we promote ourselves well, if we are not so rigid with all these things, I think the Indians are also coming to do their wedding in Malaysia, and their invitees are by the thousands, and they fly all the invitees, their guests, to the country, hosted them in hotels with meals, etc. and whatsoever. And this is huge tourism dollars for the countries. And I think we should not miss that. And I think for once, I feel that we should all wake up, because we were once the leader, and people or the leaders are looking at us and looking upon us. But now they are all ahead of us, and we become the followers instead of the leaders. Time to wake up, Malaysia. Thank you. Any questions? Any questions with regards to the visa things?
So, will MATTA send any memorandum to
Yes, we are looking at engaging, because this is not the problem of Ministry of Tourism only, because the Ministry of Tourism, their job is to promote the country, etc. and whatsoever. As I said, on one hand, on the left hand, we are spending money promoting and whatnot. On the other hand, we have also some other ministry who are saying, in the name of security, etc., or for the reason of security, etc., we are stopping all these things and whatnot. So, so if this is the case, then why spend millions of ringgit for promotion? Might as well not do anything. Because this promotions money is our money, our taxpayers' money.
So currently you're targeting China with this proposal, right? How much money do you think if this?
Specifically, we are looking at China because China is one source that we have dropped. But we are looking, I'm not saying that only, I think as overall, Malaysia should look into should take a proactive steps now. Because from the attachment reports I have given to you, you can see clearly now that our neighboring countries are actually ahead of us now. They are more proactive. Whereas we are still sitting, warming up our seats comfortably, thinking and looking at the numbers that we are okay. Actually, on the grounds, we are not okay.
How much money do you see coming in if this goes through?
I don't have the figures with me offhand, but you can equate 30% of lost revenue. In the past, if you based on the last year's overall figures is X amount, then you just less 30% from that. You can get the figures how much is the amount of money that we are losing. I think the main drive here, the main point here is that we are very, very slow. And we are not reacting. We are not proactive. We are sitting here, we'll wait, when there is a problem, then we start to move. We are just not reacting to the problems, or anticipating the problems and then do a reactions that would actually prevent these numbers from coming to shall we wait until the numbers drop and then we start to wake up and start to do something? I think we should not come to that stage. I still feel that it's still not too late for this call.
Would you know how many countries in our region that practices e-visa or free visa entry?
As you can see from the reports, the Myanmar, I think is in terms of categories in the whole region, they are the latest to join the ASEAN community. They are actually, in terms of ranking, perhaps, or maybe the lowest in the rank and whatnot, and yet, if such a country in that position can come up with e-visa, I don't understand why Malaysia is not able to do that. And Thailand already reacting very, very fast. I think they are one of the first to react by giving visa exemptions.
What about Singapore? Singapore's not doing visa exemption, it's not doing outline visa.
Singapore, I think Singapore, I did not check on the Singapore things, but they are very fast actually. They are reacting it very, very fast on that visa things. And the other thing is on the ASEAN, because we are in 2015, we are into ASEAN communities and whatnot. We should be looking like something like the EU when Indonesia is looking into that aspect. When a guest or when a visitors or tourists who has a visa in Thailand and already in Thailand, they can always come to Indonesia without a visa. So they are already practicing that. And as far as Malaysia is concerned, we have got no news yet. What is our stand? You see what I'm trying to say. Even I give you an example like Indonesia used to be behind us, and today they are in front of us. They are reacting. They are proactive. They are reacting. I think that's the point I want to drive this morning, so that our government should wake up. Whoever is responsible for the tourism. I mean, of course, the tourism is responsible by the Minister of Tourism. But our Minister of Tourism responsibility is on the promotion and bringing the tourists and whatnot. As I said, the other party, the parties that is not on the front end who are also responsible for tourism. They have to react to this thing, because tourism is a whole thing. It's just not Ministry of Tourism and Minister of Tourism responsibility. If our country, if Malaysia is very, very serious in tourism, the whole lot of it has to be looked upon as a whole entity.
You mentioned that you brought this up to the government some time ago, exactly when?
A few weeks ago, we already released a press statement requesting the government to look into or to consider giving China visa exempt for 6 months at least. But unfortunately, besides the chairman of the Tourism Malaysia, nobody else actually reacted to that, and we haven't got anything else. Tourism is the second foreign exchange earner for the country. If we do it right, if we are serious, if Malaysia is serious, and if we do it right, we could be the top foreign exchange earner, tourism industry. And tourism industry is just not for the tourism is just not for the tourism industry, just not for travel agency. The spin-off from this tourism things is across the board. It benefited the rural folks, it benefited the taxi drivers, it benefited the shops, and it's across the board. It's just not for travel agency like us. So this is something which the government need to consider seriously. Are we going to be a major tourism players in the regions? Is this just one of our side things? Any other questions? If not, thank you very much for your attendance today, this morning. I hope you can cover this issue, give it a good headline, because seriously, it's not only going to benefit the travel agency, as I said, it's going to benefit the nation as a whole. And I think this is something that my call for this PC is because we need to wake up the government or the people who are responsible for tourism in the government. Yes, thank you very much.